Okay, this is UFO Bob. I'm going to talk about something that's controversial, which is the Nick Fuentes debate that's currently happening. I want to make sure I'm fair. So if Nick Fuentes, you're watching this, I want to make sure I'm fair about this. Okay, what I understand is that Nick Fuentes is 27 years old, grew up, I think it's LaGrange, Illinois, predominantly a white, Hispanic, and a very small population of blacks. Went to college, but then dropped out, but then came back to college, got a degree. Was involved with some controversial things like the January 6th Capitol riot, but then to go inside the building. 2017, went to Charlottesville for what the internet states was the far right happening or something there, as well as other things, okay, that are very controversial, what's called far-right views, okay, what the internet would call white nationalism. So, and I'm saying the internet because, you know, if Nick Fuentes is watching this, I want to give you a fair platform so you can respond. But let me state this, okay? So Nick Fuentes is 27, grew up in a different era the whole bit, okay? I was born in 1958 in San Francisco, grew up in the inner city housing projects. And I always say, so people have a realistic view of the things, the early 60s in the projects was like Leave It a Beaver. But the late 60s became like Eldridge Cleaver, the Black Panther Party, a transitional format that happened. Of course, you have the hippie thing and everything else. Here's what I'm saying is that somebody like myself, because I grew up in a inner city, it was very rough. Things got violent, but then you came away with it because it was, after all, racially integrated. But there was definitely strife and friction. You came away with that. At least I came away looking back on it that, see, there's good and bad people in all races. The problem is the bad people that start shit and they get other bad people and the other groups involved, and before you know it, you got these clashes. But the people themselves generally are good people, okay? Doesn't matter what it is. So here's my point of view about things, okay? The guy is young, still relatively young. Who's to say what his viewpoint is going to be another 10, 15 years from now? I think there's too much sometimes undue focus on people who are extremely controversial, not enough focus on people who actually would have the answers, okay? If I was voted as president, I would only run for one term because, see, I like custodian work. I want to be a custodian to the day I die. If I'm a 90-year-old man and that's the way I pass away, I'm going to be happy. But for one term, I could fix this nation with common sense answers, including the controversies between extreme groups, no matter what race, what group, or whatever it is, to balance things out. And that's what I wanted to say. UFO Bob 2020.